Hi, this is Corey from the First Aid Training Co-operative, and today we've got a video which will demonstrate how we might deal with a casualty in a remote environment who has a potentially fractured femur top leg. Tom today is going to be our volunteer casualty. I've got a little bit of equipment and this is really advanced first aid. So Tom, how are you feeling?
Not so good.
So it looks like you might have hurt your upper leg there.
Yeah.
So we need to make that nice and stable for you. So what I need to do, I've got some equipment here. Today I've got a standard walking pole to help me to try and splint Tom's leg and apply a little bit of traction. But in the real world, I could use a ski pole, I could use a piece of wood, kayak paddle, all sorts of things. But today, since it's handy, we've just got this walking pole. So Tom, I'm just going to lie this down by the side of your leg. And if you notice, the pole is longer from the casualty's hip and ankle, so it extends beyond the casualty's hip and ankle. I've got some bandages here we're going to use today, but in the real world I could just use climbing slings, I could use inner tubes of my mountain bike, duct tape, anything that I've got to tie this together. So I'm very carefully now, I'm just going to slide this underneath your thigh, very, very carefully, and under your buttock. I'm not going to move anything, so that's great. So we've just got that underneath. I need to strap this walking pole, so I'm just going to wrap that around there so it's going to be nice and firm. I'm going to strap this to the side of your groin, Tom. So this might hurt a wee bit, but I just need you to be strong for me. That's great. You're doing a great job, casualty. Well done. So we'll get some pressure on there. So that's the first job. We've got that tied into the casualty's groin. We know the injury is in here somewhere, and so we need to strap this just below the casualty's knee as well to make sure that the object is stable. Now there's a natural hollow under the knee, so it's easy to slide the bandage under, and just below the kneecap, we're going to tie this up against the casualty's leg. How's that feeling, Tom?
Yeah, good.
That's very good. And now you'll see that the pole extends below the casualty's foot. And what I'm going to do is I've got another bandage and I'm just going to lark's foot this, tie it around the casualty's ankle. Again, there's a natural hollow under their ankle, so I can just slide this underneath without lifting anything. And we're just going to pop that with a lark's foot over here. Now, because we've got a walking pole, there is a loop here, which I'm going to tie the bandage to. So Tom, you might feel a little bit of pressure now as I tie this on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks. So make that nice and firm. So at the moment, all we've really done is strapped the object that's going to provide the traction to the side of the casualty's leg. Now we need to apply the traction. So I need a small piece of wood, tent pole, a piece of metal out of my rucksack, the back of my rucksack. Luckily today, because we're in the training room, I've got a pen. So I'm going to use this, and if I slide this within the bandage and I gently start twisting, this will shorten the bandage, and as the bandage shortens, we'll apply tension to the leg, and inside the femur, the top leg, the tension will start to be applied. So Tom, how's that feeling? Can you feel any pressure there?
Yeah, it's coming.
Feel some traction?
Yeah.
So talk to your casualty, you're their best friend, reassure them, and give them some advice. How's that? I'll give one more turn, Tom.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
So I've got my object, my tent pole, next to the walking pole here, and normally at this point I would tape that off just so it can't release. So this is how we'd apply traction to a casualty with a potentially injured femur or top leg. In summary, we've been trying to demonstrate how we would stabilise and apply traction to a potentially fractured femur. The process we demonstrated took about 2 minutes. If I was doing this for real with a real casualty in the outdoor environment, I'd maybe take 15 or 20 minutes to carry out that procedure. It'd be very slow, very deliberate. We'd be talking to the casualty, making sure they were comfortable and trying to do things in a very controlled way. For our demonstration, clearly we need to keep the time to a minimum. On the demonstration, we made sure that the object, the walking pole, was longer than the area from the casualty's hip to their ankle, so it goes longer than that. What would I use in the real world if I didn't have a walking pole? Well, a ski pole. I could use a piece of wood. I might use something like my kayak paddle. So anything we can use to improvise this leg splint. We used bandages in the pictures to show how we tie the leg to the pole. But in the real world, I could use anything. So inner tubes, spare inner tubes off my mountain bike if I was biking. I could use straps off my rucksack that I could cut off. I could use climbing slings, pretty much improvise out of anything. If I was tying something around the paddle here, paddle is quite slippy, so I'd need to make sure that whatever I was using didn't slide along the paddle. So I might have some duct tape so I can tape the bandage to the paddle, or even cut a small notch with my knife just to secure it so it doesn't slip. So that was splinting a potentially fractured femur in the outdoor environment. And remember folks, this is an advanced skill.